Hey everyone, welcome back to Inkmattic, back here with another video. Today we're going to be looking at the eToro platform and from an investor's standpoint, the pros, the cons and everything else. So with this platform, we are going to be diving into it and just see if it's worth your time, but it's also worth mentioning a few disclaimers before we proceed. The first one, this is not financial advice and this is just for entertainment purposes only. The second one is if you do dabble into this CFD side, that there 67% of retail investors do lose money with eToro. You can see this information up here and you can also see it in the description in the footer down below right here as well. And if you do decide to go on the investing side, just remember capital is at risk. So yeah, let's dabble into this review and have a look if it's really worth your time. Now that we've cleared up that, also I need to say that I do have an affiliate link of eToro in the description below. So if you do want to sign up to eToro, if you want, you can use my link. It will help support this channel. So now let's move on to what does eToro offer in terms of stocks. Let's take a look at that now. So I head over to my to the trade market tab. And if we click on stocks, they do have a number of exchanges that they support, ranging from Amsterdam all the way to Zurich. So we'll just run through the list. So they support Amsterdam, Brussels, Copenhagen, Frankfurt, Helsinki, Hong Kong, Lisbon, London, Madrid, Milan, Nasdaq, New York Stock Exchange, Oslo, Paris, Saudi Arabia, Stockholm and Zurich are all the exchanges that they support, which is actually quite a lot compared to the commission-free competition. Almost couldn't say that there, but yeah. So, but you have to remember as well that they don't have as much of a selection as the competitors. So for example, with Trading 212, Freetrade and Stake, they have a great selection in the US market. So for example, if we were to have a look at the New York Stock Exchange here, they have about 862 stocks on the New York Stock Exchange. The Nasdaq is a little bit less, we're around 500. But then you can go to Saudi Arabia where you've only got Aramco that you can buy. So it's worth knowing that you do have that limitation and the range, well, the stock universe for those exchanges are quite slim. But what I do like about it, it does give me exposure to other exchanges, which is actually really useful. Because in the past, I have been looking at buying into CK Hutchinson's in the Hong Kong Stock Exchange, which they do have right here. But also, but now would I invest in it? Probably not, but it's good to have that exposure if there is a company on that they do support in that exchange, which is fabulous. So you don't have to go to a commission charging broker, you can stick to commission-free ones, which is fantastic. So it is great to have that option as well. Let's see what other things eToro offers. So they offer stocks, ETFs, cryptos, which you can buy the underlying assets, indices, commodities, currencies, which are CFD only. So it's worth bearing in mind that you can do pretty much all of them on CFD, whereas with actually buying the underlying assets is pretty much limited to stocks and crypto. So if you want to know what crypto you can buy on this platform, let's take a look. There's a total of 18 cryptos that you can buy at the time of recording this video, ranging from Bitcoin, Ethereum, Litecoin, Cardano. I know some YouTubers are pretty big on that. Myota, XLM, EOS, I think that's related to voice.com. I'm not 100% sure. And the rest, I have no clue what they are. So if you do know what they are, it could be a kind of a good option to check out eToro. So with eToro, they actually have their own cryptocurrency wallet. It's only available on Android and iOS at the moment. It supports over 120 currencies, which is actually fantastic. I personally can only name a handful, but it's great if you do want to store that in a crypto wallet. All right, so now let's take a look into actually buying a stock and seeing how easy it is to use. So let's dive into that. So what I want to do is just type in my favorite stock at the moment, Energy Transfer. So let's have a look at that and see what exactly how easy it is to. So what you can see here is you can see a feed of this stock. So relevant posts around Energy Transfer. You've got a description right here of Energy Transfer, what it is, how many people are following it on the platform, and the percentage of investors. So 1.41% investors, which is actually quite a lot, to be honest, for a stock. So I think that is actually quite a good metric, and I actually quite like that. It gives me that whole idea, you know, that we're all involved, and I can see what other people are investing and get those kind of stats, which is, you know, it is actually a good thing. So when you go into the stats section, you see a number of things like previous close, day range, 52-week range, average volume, etc., earnings per share. You've got the revenue, PE ratio, all these are relevant depending on what stock you're looking at. You got the sector, the industry, the CEO, the number of employees, if you're looking for that information. Then you've got the income statement, balance sheet, and cash flow statements here, really easy to digest, which is fantastic. You know, it is great to have this information at your fingertips when you are doing your analysis. Then you've got charts, and you can go into a little bit more detail and look at the chart. Research is probably the tab that I like the most. So you've got the research, so the analysis consensus saying that it's a strong buy at the moment. You've got analysis rating, where it says it's targeted around $11, which is the average of all the analysis. So you've got the lows of $9, and then you've got the highs of $16. Remember, this is not financial advice. This is just for entertainment purposes only, and obviously do your own due diligence. So you can see the analysis ratings right here. And if you want to see all of them, you can just expand that list and see all the analysis that have rated it. For example, you have this one here. You can see it's been upgraded and then the date that happened. You can even have the link to the article if you're interested in reading that. Then you've got other stuff here, which is hedge fund activity, which might be interested to know. Which is also useful, it can be useful. And then you've got the insider transactions, and you can see that a lot of insiders have been selling Energy Transfer rather than buying, so that could definitely influence your investing decision. But yeah, overall, it is actually a really good way to do your research. I really like it, and it is definitely really useful for me anyway. And it looks like this information is provided by TipRanks. So let's say we wanted to buy a stock of Energy Transfer. All we would do is hit the trade button, and you would just make sure, enter the amount that you want to invest. If you want the units, you can put in the number of units that you want. It does support fractional shares, which is great. Everyone loves fractional shares, including me. But one thing to watch out for is this leverage. And if you do hit a leverage, and if you do accidentally click 2 times, then it becomes a CFD type stock. So just remember, if you do click on that, it does become a CFD. So it can be really easy to accidentally hit that 2 times button, and then it becomes a CFD trade. So just make sure it does say you are buying the underlying asset if you are wanting to buy that underlying asset. One thing I've noticed as well is when I came to sell my stock in Energy Transfer, I was looking to sell, but then I did notice it's a CFD trade, and that I was like, that's not what I want. And the way to actually close a position is, what you would do is you would head over to portfolio, click on the security that you want to sell. And the way you have to think of it in eToro is like a trade. So at the moment with Bitcoin, I have two positions opened, and what you would want to do is close these with the X button, and that's effectively selling the stock that you own, or the asset that you own, which was actually really confusing for me. I had to tweet a few people out on this on Twitter to get an answer, because I was completely confused the first time I used it. But now that I understand it, I actually really like this platform, and it is quickly becoming one of my favorite platforms to invest in. So as you can see, I've started buying crypto on eToro. I personally am not a fan of crypto, but I do not want to miss out on some of the activity. So I do have a little bit of that FOMO there. And yeah, I've just put in a few $100s into crypto, and I'm just going to leave it. But I will be using this platform for buying stocks. So now let's take a look at the fees for buying stocks on eToro. And what's really interesting is that it's 100% stocks, 0% commission. So it says open a free investing account with eToro and set yourself free of commission, which, is very enticing. So let's take a look into this and what this actually means. So what does zero commission actually mean? So zero commission means that no additional fee has been charged. Most brokers add a dealing charge when you buy or sell shares through them. Traditional brokers do this, such as Hargreaves Lansdown, etc., etc. So with this, what actually sets eToro apart is this here. So what they claim to do is eToro even absorbs stamp duty and financial transaction tax for clients where applicable. An additional saving of 0.5% in the UK, which is the stamp duty. You can also say 1% in Ireland, 0.3% in France, and 0.1% in Italy, which is actually fantastic. I don't really know how they do this or how they can absorb these kind of costs, but it is definitely something that, is very appealing if you do want to buy British stocks, British, Irish, French or Italian stocks. So yeah, it's definitely something worth checking into. If you're interested in buying stocks in those, you can save on stamp duty or financial transaction tax. I find it fascinating that they're able to offer this, and it is definitely a unique selling point for eToro. So a few things that you need to know with costs. So when you do open an account, there is a minimum of $200 that when you first open your account, but then after you can then add, the minimum is $50 when you top up, when you add additional funds, essentially, which is great. I think although it's a slightly higher barrier to some of the other commission-free brokerages, but I don't think it's too much of a barrier to get into, in my opinion. So now looking at the fees with eToro, obviously we've just gone through the 0% commission on stocks. So let's go have a look into stocks and ETF. So, they don't have any commission on here, but then when we do go into, if I can find it, other fees, there is no deposit fees. However, there is a withdrawal fee of $5 and a minimum withdrawal amount of $30. So just bear that in mind when you are thinking about withdrawing, and maybe make one big withdrawal rather than several smaller ones, because that can definitely add up. They've also got a commission, not a commission, they've also got a conversion charge of 50 pips. So don't worry about pips, we'll go through that in a bit. So for UK to USD, they'll charge 50 pips as a conversion fee. So what they mean by pips is, for example, if we were to deposit 10,000 euros, euro to USD rate is the market rate, and you'll get the euro rate here, but then they will take off 50 pips from that exchange rate, and then they'll times it by the 10,000 to give you the $11,139. If that makes sense, I hope it does. So what they do is just basically remove the pips from the exchange rate. So what they've done here is the exchange rate from euro to USD is 1.1189 minus the 0.0050 from the exchange rate. And that will give you, and that's essentially the fee. It seems quite small, but if you're doing large amounts, it can definitely add up. Also, if your account is inactive, for example, you have not logged into your eToro account in over 12 months, then there is an inactivity fee of $10 per month. And as soon as you log back in, that will start for another 12 months before they start charging again. So it's just worth noting that there is an inactivity fee on that, just to keep you guys aware and keep these fees transparent. It's all in here. So it's worth noting if you are gonna, buy a bunch and then not use it for 12 months, it's worth knowing that there is a fee if you do not use the platform. And if we go to crypto, there is a little bit of a spread on the cryptocurrencies. So when buying cryptocurrencies on eToro, you gain ownership of the assets. The only trading fee charged by eToro are spreads and are detailed below. So there is a spread when you are buying cryptocurrency, so 0.75%. Ethereum is definitely a lot higher at 1.9%. But yeah, you've got all the fees right here, and you've got some more down here. So it's worth remembering that there are fees, and the cost of crypto transfers are right here as well. So I think the transfer fees are quite high, in my opinion. And then you've got CFDs if you're interested in that kind of stuff right here. So that's the fees overall. I really like the platform a lot. I think the fees are reasonable. It's not hugely massive, but you know, it does have fees, and they try to make it as transparent as possible, although it is a little confusing to work it out, but that's how they've decided to set it up. So it does make sense to me, and it's fairly small. Maybe not the crypto side, but so what I also want to talk about is this feature that they've got here, which is copy people, and you can actually copy people's trades. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick someone at random, like this Theo Sanders guy, and have a look at his performance. So in 2020, he's been up quite a lot, actually. He's done pretty well. He has been up 6.5, 3.85%, 8.12%. So he's done a pretty consistent job throughout 2020. In January, he's down 1.99%. And then in February, he is up 1.73%, which is actually really good. And I think, you know, that is actually really good. Bear in mind, I am not recommending this guy. I'm just going through his portfolio and my train of thought. So with this, he's got 1,612 people copying him, and a lot of them have been fairly recent. Copy assets under management, $1 to $2 million. Well, that's actually a good chunk of change. So he's done a total of 408 trades. 77% of it is stocks, 10% of it are ETFs, 8% crypto, indices, and so on. So he has a good amount that is profitable, which is VXX, 33%, Bitcoin, 54%, and it looks like he did jump on the GameStop bandwagon, where he's 40% profitable, which is, you know, pretty decent. Trades per week on average, which is 8, so he's fairly consistent. Average hold time is about 3 weeks. Active since 19th of March 2020, and he's about 64% profitable week. 64% of those weeks are profitable, so you know, pretty decent, I'd say. Portfolio, let's have a look at his portfolio. So you know, you can literally hit copy and then just do that, copy his portfolio. So I think this is actually really interesting, and actually have a little nose of what other people's portfolios are looking like. So for example, we've got all this. So he's definitely got quite a few Chinese stocks in here. Got Shopify, which I know, Netflix, Coke, etc. So yeah, that is actually really interesting. Charts. Let's have a look at another YouTuber. So I think her name is Panda. There we go. Anna Panda Boss. Let's have a look at this. Her portfolio. And it's actually a really good way of having a look and see how other people are doing. I'm just going to dive straight into the portfolio and see what she's got. So she's got Legal and General, etc. Bitcoin. Doing pretty well on Bitcoin. Got a bit of Ethereum I see here. Neo as well. So yeah, it is actually a really interesting way to see what people are doing. And you can see the stats here. So in January, like most people, 2020, you can see that started off low, but then the last 2 months were green. And then in January 2021, it seems like a lot of people did have a red month. But then, you know, it's brought back up here in February, which is actually really good. So yeah, if you're interested in trying out eToro, you can use my affiliate link in the description, or head over to inkmattic.com/eToro. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this review and walkthrough of this platform. I really like this, and it's definitely something that I will be using more and more as time goes on, and it may even become one of my top platforms in the future. So yeah, I would love to know what you guys think about this platform. Is this something that you will be trying out as well? I hope you found this video useful, and don't forget to smash that subscribe button and like this video for more updates. And don't forget, I do have a written review of this coming out shortly, so stay tuned for that, and I will also pin it in the description when it goes live. That's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. See you in the next one.